Hello again, Roy.RealEstate here with Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Today I want to do a couple of video series on the West Texas Weather Modification program. Some people may know a little bit about it, have some misconceptions, kind of gives a little bit of background and what the program's goals are and how it works and whatnot. So originally when it was started, there was some state funding because the goal was to get more water into the watersheds, into the storage facilities, the lakes down, so that then for the entire state of Texas to increase the amount of water. And so it helped for it to start in West Texas. The state funding is no longer part of it, so it's all funded by the water improvement districts. Now, the West Texas Weather Modification Program has Crockett, Sutton, Schlacker, Erie and Sterling, Reagan, and Glasscock counties, and a little section of Tom Green County right around the Twin Buttes area. So the landowners in this area are now the ones paying for the program, and the goal is again to increase the amount of rainfall through the means that I'll talk about in a little bit and try to explain to you. So to increase the amount of rainfalls for both, producing more agriculturally, whether it's farming or ranching, and to get more into the water storage system, our lakes, that it can be used for water. So that's kind of the history of the program, and then they have, the program actually has a full-time meteorologist, and then they have mostly part-time pilots that are kind of on a contract basis that they use to do the flying and stuff. So short version of the way it works is as you're starting to build a thunderstorm, and there are several things required for a thunderstorm. You have to have abundant moisture, you have to have some kind of instability, and then a lifting mechanism. So as this happens, when you've got moist, humid air and it rises, then it condenses. You get water droplets start to condense out of it. And as it gets closer and closer into actually becoming a thunderstorm, then you've got updrafts generally more around the outside edges of the storm, and then downdrafts in the middle. And the water particles keep going through this process, and they actually freeze as they get up high because it's above the freezing level, and then they'll melt as they go down. And they keep doing this until the water droplets get so big that the updrafts are not strong enough to hold them up anymore. And that's when the rainfall actually starts. So if you look at it as a scale of 1 to 10, the rainfall actually starts at about the 4 or 5 level in the storm. So the weather modification program really targets that stage of the storm, because what you're trying to do is get the storm to rain more and rain earlier than it might have normally done. So they use silver iodide flares, some glaciogenic flares, and they fly around under the thunderstorm and find the areas of these updrafts. And when you find a substantial updraft, then you burn these flares, and then those particles get lifted up into the cloud because you're in that updraft. The particles get lifted up into the cloud, and they help form condensation nuclei, so you get these little ice particles building in the storm. And that makes the drops get bigger, quicker, and therefore makes it start raining quicker and a little bit heavier on the early end of the storm. So that's the really simple version of it. And I've done, I don't remember how many hours of the cloud seeding stuff, and it's really a fun process of getting under and finding the spots in the storm, because you got to be a little detective-ish, because we think all this science is real fixed, but it's not. It's kind of, there's a little bit of guess and feel to the whole process, as well as understanding the basics of the science behind it. So you're trying to get out there. They have the meteorologist is directing you, looking at real high level radar pictures, a lot more in depth than what you're able to look at when you watch the Weather Channel or on your phone or whatever. So he's able to direct us to these storms. As you're out there flying, you try to go to the storm and find the areas of those updrafts, the inflows, and then you burn the flares that get raised up into the storm. So as you do all this, you start to see the rainfall will start, and they've got substantial research on it. And again, this goes back probably somewhere in the neighborhood of since the 50s or something. It's been done in Israel, been done in Cuba. We've been doing it in Texas for probably 10 or 15 years. They use it in the Dakotas, in the agricultural areas of the Dakotas and stuff. So there's a good bit of science, established science on it from different places around the world, and how it works and how much it works. And now with the modern radars, we're able to really track and kind of really see what you're able to do with these storms. So you find that storm that's just either virtually at or in the early processes of actually rain coming out of it. Those droplets are big enough that they're starting to fall out, but a lot of times it is really early, and the whole goal of the process is to make those droplets bigger and get them to fall out. And so the question a lot of people ask is, well, does it work? And I can tell you, as one who's been there flying up and down under the clouds and stuff, that there are times that absolutely there's no debate in my mind that it works. There's other times because it just depends. You have to find the right conditions. You can't make the conditions right. You have to find the right conditions to be able to introduce these substances to try to help the process. So when you find the right conditions, it absolutely can increase the amount of rainfall coming out of a storm. So anyway, that's really all I want to talk about today, just kind of the basics of the program and what it does. And I know I want to hit another video of kind of some of the questions people ask about it as far as hail or making the storms bigger and stuff like that, but I don't want to take up too much time in any one video. So if you have questions, want to talk more about it, just give me a call. Roy.RealEstate, 325-268-0775. Thank you.